Being rich and famous is not an easy task, especially when you're royalty. Not only do you have high obligations to your family, but to your country as well, which is not something to be taken lightly. Well, having several $billion since you were a baby is somewhat of compensation. I doubt many royal children have a tantrum because they can't play in the mud, but are forced to live luxuriously. Mark Twain's The Prince and the Pauper is not really something that happens in real life, you know. Just to prove my point, let me show you the marvelous lives of the three richest royalty kids. Prince Moulay Hassan. Ever since he was 14, Prince Moulay Hassan has been in the spotlight when talking about privileged kids. Since then, 5 years have passed, but Moulay still can't seem to shake off the interest everyone has in his life. But of course, with a net worth of $1.5 billion, that's anything but surprising. The Moroccan king-to-be, however, doesn't let his riches cloud his mind. By all means, Prince Moulay is one of the most down-to-earth royalties in the world, although he does have some lavish and ultra-luxurious items to brag about. While the Crown Prince is surely among the most modest royalties in the Muslim world, you probably won't see him riding the bus to work with the regular schmucks anytime soon. Not that he doesn't work. On the contrary, the 19-year-old Moulay has responsibilities few have at his age. Thankfully, the Crown Prince has a breathtaking car collection to help him get places. The young royalty has a relatively short list of cars in his garage, but quantity can never overshadow quality. By relatively short, I mean compared to other Arabian crowned princes, not to regular people, of course. The prince's prized possession is a 1957 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Roadster, worth around $1.2 million. The car is nothing short of an art piece, designed especially for Moulay's grandfather. Now the car is the property of the future king, and he treasures it, just like his grandfather did. So, naturally, that's not his go-to car for traveling around. For such trivial matters, the young prince uses either his 1969 Ferrari 365 GT, worth just under $1 million, or his 1976 Lamborghini Huracan P300, worth around $150,000. Okay, those are just for show. In practice, the prince most commonly uses a state limousine and rarely drives any of his 78 cars worth between $10,000 and $1 million. Of course, the Crown Prince doesn't live in a spare room above his girlfriend's garage, although if the rumors about him and the Princess of Spain are true, this might not be as bad as it sounds. Prince Moulay can enjoy one of 4 ultra-luxurious and lavish palaces in Rabat, Marrakesh, Casablanca, and Fez. The last one by far is the most spectacular of them. Dar al-Makhzen is one genuine architectural and cultural treasure. With its lavish decorations and breathtaking gardens dotted with fountains and artificial lakes, one can easily forget he's in the middle of the desert. Needless to say, keeping such magnificence in the middle of the Sahara is not a cheap endeavor. Taking care of 4 such masterpieces is unimaginably expensive. Actually, it's pretty much imaginable thanks to the Moroccan royal family. The operating budget of all 4 palaces is roughly around $1 million a month. Thank God they don't need natural gas to heat them up. While his palaces don't need much fuel to run, Moulay's private planes surely do. But I guess when you have $1.5 billion in your account and one of the biggest African economies behind your back, kerosene prices are not as troubling as for us regular folk. So, naturally, the king-to-be of Morocco does not compromise when it comes to flights, and he spent $67 million on one of the most luxurious private jets, the Gulfstream G650. While the plane itself is relatively small, it has everything a royalty can wish for and more. By more, I mean the $20 million anti-missile defense system that was installed on board Moulay's private jet. Prince Moulay was never fond of flashing his wealth, despite having more money than almost any other child in the world. Still, his wealth can easily be seen through his lifestyle, behavior, and class. Prince George Alexander Louis. It's sad to see the future King of England in the runner-up position. What truly might make him cry, however, is the fact he's not even the richest Windsor. With a net worth of $3 billion, however, the 9-year-old does much better than most other preteens. But how can a boy this young be worth $3 billion? Well, in all honesty, that's an estimate of the prince's impact on the economy until he gets his hands on the family funds. Along with this estimate, a $1.2 billion trust is always under the Crown Prince's control. After his father, Prince William, becomes the king, this trust will go under George's control. While the future King of England has no money of his own yet to spend on candy, toys, and a medieval castle literally made out of Legos, you shouldn't be quick to pity him. The prince, surprising or not, is doing pretty okay, so you can stop going from door to door to ask for charity on his behalf. The boy was born in St. Mary's Hospital, famous for its luxurious maternity services. It's a place that's more like a 5-star spa center for women who are giving birth. Each future mum is pampered like a queen in her own private room, where she can enjoy the finer things in life. A personal safe for the diamond tiaras, a TV that can easily be mistaken for the Apollo theater scene, and a private fridge. You know how cranky pregnant women can get if they don't have their own private fridge filled with chocolate chip ice cream. Most shockingly, however, is that there is no hospital food in this hospital. Instead, there is a 5-star menu prepared by a master chef. Why, oh why, can't men give birth? That's so unfair. Naturally, the prince's life became even better after his birth, as he moved right into his parents' home, an $830 million palace in Kensington. Recently, after the boy's birth, William and Kate spent around $3 million to make the home more appropriate for children. I can only imagine that before the renovations, the palace was all whiskey, trophies, and heavy cigar smoke everywhere. Now, George, Charlotte, and Louis have taken over the palace. Unfortunately for the future king, however, he must share a room with his brother, while Charlotte has a room of her own, like a true lady. Still, unlike his sister, George has much more to show for. He has met with various world leaders, who even gifted him with some pretty nifty gifts. For example, the former US President Barack Obama gave the future king a greeting card worth around $156,000. If that greeting card wasn't the deed for a luxurious car, I have no idea how a piece of paper can be worth so much. Regardless of his position as the future king and the fact he's 2 years older than his sister, Charlotte is still the richest Windsor. Princess Charlotte of Cambridge. The British ruling family has been more than royalties for quite some time now. Today they're more like pop stars, something like the Kardashians, only not as dull and with much more exciting lives. Naturally, they would probably never agree on a reality TV show based on their lives, which comes to show you that you can't buy class, no matter how much money you have. Or they simply don't like people to see that the royal family are actually 5-dimensional lizards who only pretend to be humans and control the world behind the scenes. I digress. Naturally, people consider the royal family members as icons. They set the trends, and it's quite interesting to see how much the British economy has changed since Prince William and Kate's daughter Charlotte was born. Better known as the Charlotte effect, the young princess will be responsible for the British economic surge of £3.8 billion over her lifetime. That's a single person's biggest GDP contribution since Rockefeller, and it overshadows the King, Prince William, and even the future Crown Prince, George. Unfortunately for them, they have been born men, and fashion is still a game best played by girls. The Charlotte effect was so impactful that some of her clothes went out of stock less than 24 hours after she appeared with them. Knowing this, it should come as no surprise that the 7-year-old is worth more than $5 billion. Like her brother, she will inherit much of this money when she gets older. But unlike him, she has the potential to make much more due to her status as a fashion icon. Luckily for Charlotte, we're not living in the Middle Ages, so she probably won't be married when she turns 12 to some old hairy Prussian king to solidify his allegiance to the crown in the fight against Saxony. Instead, she has been receiving the best education in the entire world. She is learning at Thomas's London Day School in Battersea, together with her brother. Each year, that costs her parents roughly around $60,000 for both kids. When Louis comes of school age, he will probably join them, and William and Kate will have to cough out another $30,000 a year. Oh, how cruel the life of the ultra-rich is. Of course, the young princess has also enjoyed some pretty generous gifts over the years. For example, her uncle Xi, better known to the rest of the world as the ruthless chairman of the Chinese Communist Party, gave her a priceless set of silk figurines. Not as tempting as a rag doll, but what can I say? It's tough to be a princess. Moreover, she received several toys made out of precious metals, along with a rattle made out of 18-karat white gold and encrusted with rubies, sapphires, and diamonds. But hey, who hadn't received such a gift when they were 2? Although the young princess is third in line for the throne, she can find some solace in the fact that neither her brother, nor her father, or even grandfather, the king, can come even close to the wealth she can generate. It's no wonder she's the richest kid in the world, literally and metaphorically. Those were the wealthiest royal kids in the world. With riches of this caliber, their parents have one challenging task of making sure their kids won't grow up to be spoiled brats who spend their money on golden cars, ultra-luxurious tanks, and haircuts worth $23,000. What was your net worth when you were 7 years old? Let me know in the comments below. If you found that video interesting, check out how the top 10 youngest billionaires in the world spend their money next.